agricultural statistics and sampling. Agricultural development is vital to achieving the Millennium Development Goals, particularly those related to poverty and food security and environmental sustainability. The need to measure agricultural performance and the results of agricultural investment has therefore become an increasingly pressing priority. Decisions about aid and investments that are intended to foster agricultural growth need to be based on sound information about land use factors of agricultural production, the prevailing economic and social situations that producers face, and the interaction of these issues concerning climate change. The impacts of these factors can only be effectively measured and evaluated with appropriate statistics. However, at present, there is a serious paucity of statistical data on which to base marketing, investment or policy decisions, or with which to assess the efficacy of current commitments or policies. In this lesson, let us understand the framework for agricultural statistics and sampling from the following headings: a conceptual framework, scope of agricultural statistics, sampling, agricultural statistics in India, agricultural sampling in India. A conceptual framework. Statistics on agricultural and rural development are used by policy makers, donors, and private sector decision makers to inform their decisions regarding a variety of important issues. It is these priority issues that drive the choice of indicators to be developed and the core data to be collected. The agriculture statistics system is a very comprehensive and provides data on a wide range of topics such as crop area and production, land use, irrigation, land holdings, agricultural prices and market intelligence, livestock, fisheries, forestry, etc. It has been subjected to review several times through expert committees since independence to make it adaptive to contemporary changes in agricultural practices. The independent review of the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization (FAO) statistics program included an effort to seek input on emerging data needs from major users and partners. A variety of attempts have been made to quantify the value of information to public and private sector decision makers. Case studies examined in literature reviews suggest that the benefits of having the information far outweigh the costs of providing the information. Multiple users expressed the need for new and improved indicators on prices, energy and biofuels, agricultural environments, climate change, trade, water, land, soils, household consumption, food security, socio-economic data, economic accounts, management of natural disasters and fisheries. Users also had high expectations for geospatial and remote sensing data and expressed the need for improved integration and for more accessible and searchable databases. The conceptual framework presented in the figure brings together the economic, environmental and social dimensions of agriculture and the cause and effect relationships that connect them. These relate to agricultural production and extend to processing and markets as well as income distribution, accumulation and consumption. The relationships are also a function of the prevailing institutional framework within which agriculture operates. Agricultural statistics are needed at each respective stage: inputs, outputs, outcome, and ultimate impacts. As there is a correlation between the urban population, poverty, and agriculture, especially in developing countries, there is an increasing demand for accurate and timely agricultural data to provide information for tracking the agricultural sector of the economy, to predict areas of food insecurity, develop programs to empower women, define environmental issues, and measure biofuel demand and its impact on the economy. The World Bank conducted an assessment of users' data needs and developed a conceptual framework to address these emerging issues linked to agricultural data. The conceptual framework expands agricultural statistics to include fisheries, forestry, and rural households. It offers indicators and topics that can be applied in a modular fashion based on resource constraints, available opportunities, and priority needs of the individual country. The conceptual framework translates policy issues into statistical language by identifying the need for the survey framework to link the farm as an economic unit, the household as a social unit, and the land they occupy in the natural environment. The framework suggests that the fundamentals of the global strategy be based on 3 pillars: identifying a minimum set of core data, the integration of agriculture into the national statistical system, and the sustainability of the agricultural statistical system through governance and statistical capacity building. Scope of agricultural statistics. The starting point in determining the scope of required agricultural statistics is the System of National Accounts (SNA), which provides international standards for concepts, definitions, and classifications of economic activities. The International Standard Industrial Classification of Economic Activities (ISIC) divides agricultural production into 3 categories or groups. Group 011 encompasses the cultivation of crops, market gardening, and horticulture. Group 012 relates to farming of animals, and Group 013 to mixed crop and livestock production. The FAO uses this classification to determine the scope of the agricultural census as described in the World Programme for the Census of Agriculture 2010, FAO 2005. The International Standard Industrial Classification (ISIC) includes precise classifications of agriculture industries that can be used by countries to specify what is in scope for agricultural statistics, such as including forestry and aquaculture. Use of the international standard classification systems allows for regional and international comparison regardless of individual national definitions and inclusions. The Central Product Classification (CPC) version 2.0 is another international standard that includes classifications of items such as crops, forestry, fisheries, food, fertilizers, pesticides, and machinery. Because of the fundamental relationship between agriculture and land, the geospatial aspects of land should be seen as an element of the scope of agricultural statistics. The geospatial scope for agricultural statistics should focus on the use of land for agriculture and forestry and take place within a broader scope of national land use statistics. The FAO proposes expanding the basic unit of enumeration for agricultural statistics to also include rural households from the population census or possibly in combination with the population to provide wider coverage. Inclusion of all enumeration units, regardless of size and location, should be a goal to provide a more robust and balanced picture of agriculture, rural development, and the economy. Forestry and agroforestry relate both to the production of forest products and to the interface between forestry and agriculture as an area of environmental impact. Collecting and reporting the data required for forestry and woodlands outside of agriculture will be the responsibility of the conventional sources, which, from a governance standpoint, will become part of the national statistical system for coordination purposes. All aquaculture and capture production, employment, and food security information will be within the scope of agricultural statistics. The scope of agricultural statistics will include use of water for agricultural purposes, including irrigation and other uses, the source of irrigation water, the land under irrigation, the irrigation method, and the resulting production. This will be done in collaboration with the FAO Aquastat program, the Global Information System on Water and Agriculture. All these expanded items should be included in the National System of Agricultural Statistics, and in many cases, this will involve coordination with the agencies that have responsibility for each of the data areas: forestry, agriculture, environment, rural development, etc. An integrated statistical system that is economical in its use of limited national resources, yet efficient in data collection, benefits greatly from governmental support at the highest levels. Sampling. The sampling methods have been extensively used for a variety of purposes and in great diversity of situations. In agriculture, the sampling methods are used to determine the germination rate of a seed material, to estimate the area covered under a particular crop, to forecast the yields of crops, to estimate the incidence rates of pests and diseases, to ascertain the properties of soil, and so on. The process of selecting a sample is known as sampling. For different situations, different sampling methods are involved. Several sampling designs are available depending upon the type and nature of population as well as objectives of the research investigation. Some important sampling designs are discussed below. Sampling can be broadly classified into probability sampling and non-probability sampling. The probability sampling methods include simple random sampling, stratified sampling, cluster sampling, multi-stage sampling, and multi-phase sampling. Investigations may be carried out on an entire group or a representative taken out from the group. Whenever a sample is selected, it should be a random sample. While selecting the samples, the heterogeneity within the group should be kept in mind and proper sampling technique should be applied. Random sampling or probability sampling. In this method of sampling, each unit included in the sample will have certain pre-assigned probability of inclusion in the sample. This sampling method provides better estimate of parameters compared to purposive sampling. Every single individual in the sampling frame has known and non-zero chance of being selected into the sample. Random sampling is also known as probability sampling. Purposive sampling. In this approach, sampling units are selected according to our purpose. Purposive sampling provides biased estimate and it is not statistically recognized and also cannot be generalized. This technique can be used only for some specific purposes. Stratified random sampling. Stratified random sampling is useful technique for data collection if the population is heterogeneous. In this technique, the entire heterogeneous population is divided into a number of homogeneous groups, usually known as strata. Each of these groups is homogeneous within itself, and then units are sampled at random from each of these stratums. The sample size in each stratum varies according to the relative importance of the stratum in the population. The technique of drawing the stratified sample is known as stratified sampling. In other words, stratification is the process by which the population is divided into subgroup or strata. Sampling will then be conducted separately in each group or strata. Strata or subgroup are chosen because evidence is available that they are related to outcome. The selection of strata will vary by area and local conditions. After stratification, sampling is conducted separately in each stratum. In stratified sample, the sampling error depends on the population variance within strata but not between the strata. Multi-stage random sampling. In multi-stage random sampling, units are selected at various stages. The sampling designs may be either same or different at each stage. Multi-stage sampling technique is also referred to as cluster sampling. It involves the use of samples that are to some extent clustered. The principal advantage of this sampling technique is that it permits the available resources to be concentrated on a limited number of units of the frame, but in this sampling technique, the sampling error will be increased. Agricultural statistics in India. Agriculture plays a vital role in the Indian economy. Over 70% of the rural households depends on agriculture as their principal means of livelihood. In view of the predominant position of the agriculture sector, collection and maintenance of agricultural statistics assumes great importance. India has a well-established and internationally acknowledged agriculture statistics system. It is a decentralized system with the state governments, state agricultural statistics authorities, SASAs, to be more specific, playing a major role in the collection and compilation of agricultural statistics at the state level, while the Directorate of Economics and Statistics, Ministry of Agriculture, DESMOA, at the center, is the pivotal agency for such compilation at the All India level. The other data gathering agencies involved are the National Sample Survey Office, NSSO, and the State Directorates of Economics and Statistics, DESS. The agriculture statistics system is a very comprehensive and provides data on a wide range of topics such as crop area and production, land use, irrigation, land holdings, agricultural prices and market intelligence, livestock, fisheries, forestry, etc. It has been subjected to review several times through expert committees since independence to make it adaptive to contemporary changes in agricultural practices. The National Statistical Commission (NSC) in 2002 took note of the findings and recommendations of all the review committees in the context of the prevailing status of agricultural statistics and attempted a fresh analysis focusing its attention on identification of the deficiencies of the system and the remedial measures required to set them right. Crop and land use statistics form the backbone of the agricultural statistics system. Reliable and timely information on crop area, crop production, and land use is of great importance to planners and policy makers for efficient agricultural development and for taking decisions on procurement, storage, public distribution, export, import, and many other related issues. With an increasingly evident trend of decentralized planning and administration, these statistics are needed with as much disaggregation as possible down to the level of village panchayats. India possesses an excellent infrastructure and it has a long-standing tradition of generating a comprehensive series of crop and land use statistics, though of late there has been a disturbing deterioration in their quality. With most parts of the country having detailed cadastral survey maps, frequently updated land records, and the institution of a permanent village reporting agency, the country has all the necessary means to produce reliable and timely statistics. The performance of the system was quite satisfactory until 2 to 3 decades ago, but it has since become dysfunctional, essentially due to administrative apathy and inaction. It is still not too late to revamp the system and restore its credibility. The following sections deal with the current status and deficiencies of the system and what needs to be done to improve it. Statistics of crop area are compiled with the help of the Village Revenue Agency, commonly known as Patwari Agency, in the temporarily settled parts of the country and by specially appointed field staff in the permanently settled states under a scheme known as Establishment of an Agency for Reporting Agricultural Statistics EARAS. The remaining 8 states in the northeastern region and 2 other union territories do not have a reporting system, though the states of Tripura and Sikkim, except some minor pockets, are cadastrally surveyed. Agricultural sampling in India. One of the most striking features of recent development in statistics is the rapid growth of interest in development of sampling methodologies and their applications as well. Some of the methodologies have been adopted by state departments and other related agencies, and some area in the process of implementation. The broad categories under which these methodologies can be classified are crops, horticulture and plantation crops, livestock, fisheries, evaluation studies, demographic studies, socio-economic studies, and all such studies which do not fall under above stated 4 categories. Before 1919, method of determining crop yield was being done by traditional method. This method, however, was subjective and unreliable. With the advent of remote sensing technology during 1970s, its great potential in the field of agriculture opened new vistas of improving the agricultural statistics system all over the world. An attempt was made to develop a suitable methodology for estimation of crop acreage, crop yield, and crop yield forecasting using remote sensing techniques. In order to develop a suitable methodology for estimating the production of important vegetable crops and their yield rates on the basis of partial harvest, a suitable theoretical framework was developed for sampling from 2-dimensional populations spread over space and time with particular reference to vegetable crops, and the theory was tested using secondary data collected under earlier vegetable surveys at IASRI. The total production of important vegetable crops and their yield rates were estimated using the developed methodology on the basis of primary data. The need to measure agricultural performance and the results of agricultural investment has become an increasingly pressing priority. The sampling methods have been extensively used for a variety of purposes and in great diversity of situations. In agriculture, the sampling methods are used to determine the germination rate of a seed material, to estimate the area covered under a particular crop, to forecast the yields of crops, to estimate the incidence rates of pests and diseases, to ascertain the properties of soil, and so on. Land cover is a basic way to evaluate agriculture's effect on the environment. Data are not required annually since land cover does not change rapidly. Technologies such as digitized data from remote sensing should provide complete coverage of a country. The absence of wide homogeneity in the experimental material that is often used in the agricultural research has led to the application of statistical methodology and consequently many improvement and newer development in statistics. Survey sampling has considerably helped the concerned organizations in providing estimation of important population parameters for scientific planning in various developmental programs. Several methodological investigations have been carried out by the Division for Evolving Suitable Sampling Methodologies.